Hello everyone, a couple of days ago I made a video about learning Chinese in China, and today's video is just going to kind of build on that. Today I'm going to be talking about the HSK. So what is the HSK? Well, it is the Hanyu Shuiping Kaoshi, which is like the Chinese proficiency exam. It is an exam that foreigners can take in China to prove that they can speak, read, and write Chinese. Although most foreigners in China are involved some way in the field of education, not everyone is. There are lots of professionals, in hotel management, web design, game design, marketing, or even like translating, interpreting, and stuff like that. Like those people are going to need to prove that they can work side by side with Chinese people and not have language be a barrier. Not only that, foreigners who come to China to study need to take the HSK as well. They need to prove to that university that, hey, I have studied Chinese, I know Chinese, or while they're at the university that their language study is going well, things like that. So let's get into the specifics of what is on this language test and kind of what it looks like. First of all, the test is split into 6 levels, which you can see up here on the screen. And these levels are divided by vocabulary level. So you can see it doubles up every time, 150, 300, 600, 1200, 2500, and then 5000. You can take any of them at any time you want, and you can skip levels, do whatever you want. For example, if you want to be admitted into a Chinese university to study academic courses, you need to pass level 4. They don't care about levels 1, 2, 3. And some departments and some majors actually require you to take level 6 and pass level 6 before you're allowed to graduate. So looking at these different levels, you can see the level 4, for example, means you can converse in Chinese on a wide range of topics and are able to communicate fluently with native Chinese speakers. In level 5, you're able to read Chinese newspapers and magazines, enjoy Chinese films and plays, and give a full-length speech in Chinese. In level 6, test takers can easily comprehend written and spoken information in Chinese and can effectively express themselves in Chinese both orally and on paper. So you can see they have very specific goals in mind for test takers, and you can show off your HSK certificate to whoever wants to employ you or whatever school you want to go to, etc., etc. And they'll know exactly what that certificate means. So let's talk about what the test actually looks like. Okay, the test is split up into 3 parts. There's listening, reading, and writing. There are 3 sections, right? Each section is worth 100 points, and you only need 180 to pass, 60%. So you can do pretty well on the reading and on the listening, and you don't even need to do the writing and still pass the test. And when you take the test, it basically just looks like this. It's a bunch of multiple choice questions. The entire test is multiple choice, except for the writing. And even the writing's not that difficult. You just have to basically unscramble these sentences. You have to put them into the right order. And that's true until you get to level 5, which is where you start to write essays. So for example, you have to write an essay using all of these words, like 80 words, so not much. It's very short, it's like a paragraph. And then you have to write an essay based on this picture explaining what it is and what it means and things like that. So you have to write 2 80-word compositions. The test taker will be required to read a native article of about 1,000 characters within 10 minutes and then rewrite it into a shorter article of about 400 characters within 35 minutes. You should also create a title for the article. All right. I'm actually going to be taking level 5. I went out and bought a book because I was just curious, I had taken the level 4 exam like way back in like 2012 or 2013 or something. So I figured, hey, why not? I've hurt my leg. I can't do much this summer. I can't travel. So let's study up a bit. And I've been studying, and it's really not that difficult. It's a few vocabulary words I could learn and, whatever. So good times. I know I'm going to pass it. I've taken 2 or 3 practice exams, and I've passed every single one of them without even taking the writing component into account. So I'm good. But the thing is, the language on this test is kind of weird. It's very, very formal language, like the kind of language that you would see in books teaching little kids how to speak English abroad. Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. And you? I'm fine too. Like nobody actually speaks like that. And this Chinese test is the equivalent of that. And like my Chinese was not learned that way. I didn't learn like that formal kind of book language. I learned my Chinese from like social media and like talking to people and stuff. So I've learned a lot of things like grammar words like conjunctions and like prepositions and things like that I didn't really study before. So it's actually quite good for me in that regard. And there's a lot of these words that are used in like books and magazines, like I said before, that I think are great, and it can open up that world to me. Because right now, I pretty much just stick on social media. Like Chinese social media is where I'm comfortable at, but I don't really read stuff. I like to read, some like Chinese books in Chinese. I think that'd be great. There are, of course, variations within the different levels of the test, but the kinds of questions that they ask usually stay about the same. It's like, what is the main idea of the passage? Or what is the man trying to say? What is the woman trying to say? What does this underlined word mean here, based on the context around it? Things like that. It's not a terribly difficult exam. All you got to do is just study a bit of vocabulary. You don't necessarily need to know every single word within that like 2,500 character syllabus that they give you, or 5,000. You just have to be able to deduce the meaning of what's around it, and if you can get a general guess, you'll probably get the question right. And before you know it, bam, you've got yourself an HSK certificate that proves you can read and write, listen and speak, understand Chinese. You can use that like me, where I'm just gonna put it on my resume. It's just a nice little thing to challenge yourself to, see if you can do it. You can learn some vocabulary, understand different little bits of the language you may have not discovered before. It's just something you might as well do, right? You're probably learning Chinese anyway, and if you're not learning Chinese while you're in China, what are you doing here? Get out. You know, come on, learn some Chinese. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you've taken the HSK, if you have any thoughts about the HSK, please leave it down below in the comments. See you all tomorrow.